So just as I expected, the Purge Anarchy just got announced for Halloween Horror Nights 24 in Orlando and Halloween Horror Nights also in Hollywood. So that video is coming as soon as I get done with this one. So we're going to get to that real quick. But before I do that, let's talk about last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. It was a wild show, and it was all over the place, completely different with the pay-per-view that was on Sunday night, which was lackluster and unimportant. This actually had a meaning, and there was a lot of really awesome things that came out of this show. So we start off the show with Triple H coming out. He says, you know what, I'll admit, I was mad. I'm still mad, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get what I want in the end, and I want the authority to have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I have options. You know what? I'm going to tweet. I'm going to utilize social media to voice my displeasure. Maybe use Instagram, or maybe shoot out a Vine. I'm going to threaten. Then I'm going to riot. And then me and my friend Mark are just going to stop watching. Gotta love when Triple H tries to troll the internet. It's hilarious. I could just fire everyone in the back. Heck, I could fire everyone in the building. I could just throw you guys all out. But you know what? I should just relax, knowing it's always going to go to what I want in the end. And I want a new champion, I'm going to get a new champion. Even if I have to wait until SummerSlam, there's going to be a new World Heavyweight Champion crowned. But the question is, who? Who am I going to give that distinction to be the man to take John Cena down? Here comes Randy Orton. He comes out, he basically says he is entitled to a rematch. He hasn't had his rematch from WrestleMania, and he wants his rematch, and he wants it at SummerSlam. He even says it's damn true, which is hilarious, because obviously that plays up to the Randy Orton, Kurt Angle legitimate heat they have between each other. I know that was probably not done on purpose, but I thought it was kind of funny, and brought a chuckle out of me. Orton says, if given the opportunity, he knows he can beat John Cena again, just like he has numerous times. Triple H says, you know what, Randy, you're right, and right now you're the front runner. For all intents and purposes, you are the front runner right now. You are the person that I am going to possibly select, but it's been a good idea to try to give the other members of the roster a chance to plead their case, to prove their worth just the same. So, they have their opportunity to convince me tonight that they're worthy of this title shot. Show me how bad they want it. How bad they want to be World Heavyweight Champion. Orton says, you know what, if Kane did his job, I'd be champion, and there wouldn't be any need for this whatsoever. So Kane comes out, of course, to defend himself, and he basically says, you know what, I hope I am being considered for this spot. I know I can beat John Cena, and I'm tired of babysitting Randy Orton. Here comes Roman Reigns, of course, to the crowd, and he says, you know what, if there is a conversation going on between who's going to be the man to take John Cena down and take the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, I definitely need to be involved in it. Obviously, the fans don't want to see another Randy Orton and John Cena match, and the fans surely don't want to see Kane and John Cena yet again. What the fans want is Roman Reigns. It's a breath of fresh air. So, Roman Reigns hits the Superman punch on Kane, and then Orton powders, and Triple H says, you know what, you want to fight? Well, there's going to be a match right now. Roman Reigns, you're going to face off against Kane and Randy Orton, and that is up next. So basically that's going to be after the first commercial break of the show, and that is our first match of the evening. Is Roman Reigns in a handicap match against Randy Orton and Kane. So we pick it up midway through, and Roman sends Kane to the steps. We come back to live action with the commercial break, and Orton's got a chin lock, and Roman breaks it with a headbutt, whips him in, and a nice back elbow to Reigns. Hits the leaping stomp and the well-placed stomp, and he stomps him right in the face. Looked like he was setting up for the Garvin stomp, but he just stomped him in the face and just stopped right there. Got a 2 off of that. So he tags in Kane, whips him in, and high elbow on Roman Reigns, gets a 2 off of that. Tag back into Randy Orton, and Orton hits a nice standing drop kick, gets a 2 on Reigns, and the chin lock, and Roman punches his way out this time. A headbutt once again, and he whips him in into a short arm counter by Roman into the Samoan drop on Orton, and he tags in Kane, ducks Kane's clothesline, leaping clothesline to Kane, charges in with the clothesline, and then the big right hand in the corner charges in with the clothesline in the corner yet again, and a right hand drops Kane down, obviously precariously placed over the middle rope just so he can hit his leaping drop kick to the side of the head, and he does just that right afterward. He punches Randy Orton off the apron for good measure, hits the right hand, Samoan drop is countered, Kane lands on his feet, shoves Roman to the ropes, and a big boot sends Roman Reigns down. So Orton refuses the tag at this point. He's like, you know what? You didn't back me up, so I'm not going to back you up. So Orton steps away. So Kane grabs Orton in the goozle, going for the choke slam. And of course, Roman Reigns takes this opportunity to introduce his fist into the action. And he hits the Superman punch on Kane. He spears Kane for the 3 count. And Randy Orton just looks like he's going to try to go after Roman Reigns, but he decides against it. And he powders and he bombs out. So that's how we open up the show match-wise. Obviously, we've been playing up all day, hearing about Triple H making a decision for who's going to face John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, and the official announcement would be made tonight on Raw, but we didn't know exactly who it would be. Now, obviously, anyone with half a brain would understand that there's only one option, and that's option C, but we'll talk about that a couple hours into the show. Excuse me. Thankfully, not a couple hours in this video, a couple hours of the show. The opening match was fine. Roman came off looking like a star, and that's pretty much all the intention of this match was, just to make Roman Reigns look good. And it worked, if that was the intention. I'm sure it was. So, of course, like I said, there has to be a continuous beatdown, basically telling me that the Divas division is just sorely, sorely needing a good match. And obviously we got Paige and AJ, but it didn't deliver like it could have. And we got the tag team match on SmackDown, which was Paige and AJ against Summer and Layla, which could have been good, but it didn't work. And I said Summer needed to be teaming up with someone else like Emma. Well, Emma actually ends up getting the Divas tag match later on in the show, but we'll talk about that as we progress. So, to make Brie pay for slapping Stephanie, she has Nikki face off in a 4-on-1 handicap match against Eva Marie, Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendez, who we haven't seen in a minute, and the Hogwarts dropout in Cameron. So Brie's in the front row, and Stephanie comes out and basically tells Brie to bomb out, and of course, Brie pulls the Kevin Nash, I got tickets, and basically she's like, well, you know what, you're just a fan now, and you could have been a star, and you were a star, and you could have continued to be a star, but you quit, you're a quitter, and pretty much just hammering this into Brie over and over again, and Nikki says pretty much nothing to this. Brie looks over and calls her a bitch, so Stephanie's like, what did you call me? And she basically says it yet again. So security is called over to eject Brie from the building. So Stephanie slaps Brie across the barricade, which technically she probably shouldn't have done because she is slapping a fan who bought a ticket to the event and not a contracted superstar that's working for the company. So yeah, we know exactly where this is headed. And Stephanie's basically just trying to make Nikki quit, just like Brie did. So basically, this match was nothing, and there was an axe kick by Alicia Fox, and that was the end. So yeah, this was short. So here comes Damien Sandow to the Harlem Globetrotters theme yet again, and this time he's wearing a jersey since we're in Miami, a Heat jersey of LeBron James, which of course the Miami is X'd out, and then a piece of duct tape is on there with the word Cleveland written on it. And who do you want to cheer in this? Obviously the fans, even though Bo Dallas puts himself over as a babyface, he's a heel, at least for the time being, and at least currently. So, I mean, they could easily have a monster babyface in Bo Dallas if they want to go that direction. And I think eventually they will, but right now they're kind of testing the waters with Bo. But, who do you cheer? You cheer Bo Dallas, who the fans are supposed to dislike, or you cheer Damien Sandow, who by the fans' purposes, if you're a sports fan, he is promoting the jersey of a man who left the town that you're currently in on his own to go to a rival. Yeah. So yeah, who do you cheer for in this match? This match ends up going a lot longer than I thought it would. Sandow clotheslined over the top rope to the floor, and Sandow gets back in the ring, hits an elbow, and he pounds away on Bo. Nice snap suplex, only gets a 1 off of that, and a suplex is countered to an inside cradle by Bo, 1-2, and a kick out. Sandow with a huge clothesline comes off the ropes and drops the knee, and he signals for the swish, which is like balla, or the ballin' of MVP at this point, and a scoop slam, and he goes for the Kobito Akiet, and he yells, "Cleveland, I'm coming home," and he misses, of course. The boot in the midsection, and the Bodog connects for the victory. And once again, JBL, I understand that you're a wrestler, but it's not a running Bodog. It's a swinging Bodog, if you want to call it anything other than just a Bodog. I'm just calling it a Bodog at this point, and that's the 3. He does the victory lap, and Bo Dallas is still undefeated in his new run in WWE. This match was alright for what it was. Could have been a lot better, could have been a lot worse, but went a lot longer than I thought it would, to be totally honest, given the fact this is a Bo Dallas match, and usually those are all squashes. So, apparently, from what I heard, this happened at Battleground after the pay-per-view was over. They shot a vignette where the Wyatt family brutally attacked Chris Jericho in the locker room. So they're showing this, and they're promoting in the beginning of the show that Bray Wyatt is the guest on the highlight reel. So that's pretty much how they set that up. And for those of you that don't follow any of the internet news sites, you did not know what was going on. But if you're watching this video, I have a feeling you probably do. I could be wrong, but you probably do. So the Wyatt family comes out, and of course, Bray sees all the fireflies surrounding the entire building with their cell phones held high. And he welcomes everyone to the highlight reel. He says, "Unfortunately, your scheduled host, Chris Jericho, yeah, he's unable to make it at the moment. He's a little bit indisposed. Where, oh where could Chris Jericho be?" And he points to the Tron, after he says, "I wonder." And then you see what happened. Jericho is doing an interview. It looked like Tom Phillips, actually. I couldn't really tell out the corner of my eye. And sure enough, he gets jumped and mugged by the Wyatt family, and Wyatt hits Sister Abigail into the locker room wall and leaves Jericho laying. He sits there, and he basically just, completely just obliterates Jericho with that. It looks vicious and brutal as all get out. He says, "You know, Chris, sooner or later, they will all fall down." So, yes. Then he starts whistling. He's got the whole world in his hands, and that's the end of that. So we get the live promo in the ring. It says, "Where is Chris Jericho? Where is your savior? Surprise, surprise, he ain't here for you. But you know who is? I am here for you, just like I have been on every single day since I've been around." I know what you're thinking. I can read your thoughts. Y'all think that because last night Chris Jericho had his arm raised at the end of the night, you believe he's a better man than I. Do you really believe that I would burden myself with such petty, squirmish things? A loss in a battle means nothing to me. Because I know it is the war that counts. War, that's my thing. I created war. It wasn't so long ago that the Wyatt family entered the WWE ring for the first time. In that time we have destroyed monsters, brought so-called heroes to their knees. I ask you, Chris Jericho, who in the hell is it that you think you're dealing with? I'm Bray Wyatt. I'm the eater of worlds, and I am every bit the monster that they all think I am. You will find, Chris, that you cannot measure me like you measure a normal man. You cannot measure me by the dollars in my pocket, by the days of the year, because time is irrelevant to me. I live 100 years a day, man. There's something that Abigail used to say to me. She used to say, "Be careful when you're out there seeking revenge, Bray, because you'll need 2 graves, one for your enemy and one for you. Unfortunately for you, Chris Jericho, I am forever. Follow the buzzards." So, another awesome Bray Wyatt promo leading towards their eventual rematch coming up at SummerSlam that I was alluding to on the Battleground recap from yesterday. I also will state that it was really a nice little ode that Jericho was bleeding from the ear actually on this. It actually looked pretty brutal. Truth comes in, he's like, "What happened?" So he kind of was like, "Hey, what happened? I can't do my work." And sorry. Christopher Guest for the win. So yes, basically, The Miz is here, and he's wearing all white, and he's got his tearaway pants, and he's looking like Johnny Cage still. And just like it was mentioned on Twitter today, I really think it's a good idea that he starts giving autographed pictures of himself out to his opponents after he beats them. Just like friendship. Johnny Cage wins. So, The Miz wins. It works perfectly, and it fits very well. So we get our next match. It is The Miz against Dolph Ziggler, just like I thought would happen. And it is also a non-title match, again, just like I thought would happen. So this match was all over the place. Started off real sloppy. Dolph is extremely fast. and that's always a good thing. He needs to slow down a bit. Not just because I need to write what he's doing, he needs to slow down for himself and for his opponent. If he goes that rapid of a pace, he's going to screw things up, and it looks really obvious when it happens, even to somebody that is unaware of anything that should or should not be happening. Obviously, I know my stuff because I've been in the ring before, so I would know that your timing is of the essence when it comes to certain things. And Ziggler rushes through things real quick, and this is coming from a huge Ziggler fan, so yeah. I would say this match was hot with the crowd, and it had some huge group of sloppy spots. Nothing really majorly botched. A few things, but things that could be covered up. But one major thing that I caught this whole time is ever since the WWE has switched to these high-def cameras, it has been a detriment to anyone in the ring trying to call spots. It is getting ridiculous trying to avoid the spot calling from the superstars nowadays. And you're hearing everyone at this point. Even if you're not aware to look for it, and sometimes I do somewhat look for it because I know that it's happening, you can spot it from a mile away and you can hear it like there's a bullhorn underneath the ring just letting you hear everything that goes on. And seriously, Miz and Ziggler had a lot of really loud spots called. Several times spots were called that I knew were probably going to happen anyway, but it was really loud and really, really obvious. But now that I've said that, let's talk about the match. So, a knee in the midsection from Miz, he stomps Dolph down, gets a snap suplex, only gets a 2 off of that, and a mounted chin lock. Not necessarily a camel clutch, but just like a chin lock, a step over chin lock, basically. So, Ziggler punches his way out, comes off the ropes, and catches the kitchen sink roll-up, 1-2, and a kick out. Miz with a clothesline, and he charges in with the running Miz line in the corner, and Dolph scoots out of the way, gets rolled up from behind, 1-2, and a kick out. And of course, the long day. The reverse DDT over the knee into the old school expulsion gets countered into a backslide, 1-2, and a kick out. And side effect on Ziggler for a 2 off of that, so that's interesting. Charges in, his boot is caught, and he kicks him over. Goes for the name dropper, gets countered into a powerbomb predicament, and of course is countered into a sunset flip. And the sunset flip is countered by Miz into the figure 4, and that is kicked off, and Ziggler plants him with the exclamation point DDT, gets a 2 off of that. Miz kicks the kneecap, and of course hits the grounded DDT and gets a 2 off of that. Drops the knee on the knee repeatedly, setting up for the figure 4, which again he should not be using anymore. And Ziggler counters with a small package, gets a 2 off of that, charges in, gets the elbow up, does Ziggler, and he catches him. And he goes for the super kick. And of course, the Miz ducks away because you don't want to touch the moneymaker, and ends up catching Dolph in the figure 4, and Dolph gets to the ropes at the last minute, calling for the break. He kicks him off, goes for the name dropper, does connect, and you hear from a mile away, he called Famouser, gets a 2.5 off of that. Zigzag swatted off, and a boot to the face. Goes for the skull-crushing finale, and it gets flipped off, and goes for the zigzag. It connects, 1, 2, 3, and Dolph Ziggler wins. But, of course, after the match is over, just to stroke his own ego, The Miz announces that he is still champion because the title was not on the line. Fast-paced match, and at the beginning was kind of sloppy, but it had the crowd in the palm of their hands for the end of it, and it actually worked pretty well. So, it was an okay match. I've seen better between the two, but once they kicked it into high gear, and I don't mean just rushing through spots just to get through spots, it actually worked quite well. So yeah, kudos to the Hollywood, Ohio match for bringing the crowd into the show. So Seth Rollins is in the back talking to Triple H, and Triple H is trying to get Rollins to understand that he has the golden ticket. He has the money in the bank briefcase, so he does not need to be in contendership for the shot against John Cena at SummerSlam. And Rollins is like, you know what? I don't understand what the big deal is because I have this briefcase, but it's been kind of like an albatross because every single time I think about trying to cash in, there's Dean Ambrose. And he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop until we shut him down permanently. So here comes Cesaro. And Cesaro says he should face John Cena. And yes, after seeing that match on Raw, I definitely agree with this. And he says, as of today, I can officially say I'm not a Heyman guy anymore. Thus proving that he is now leading down the road that's going to lead him into monster babyface dumb by the time the year is over. going after Brock Lesnar will be a good start to that. But right now, he's teetering on the Authority's heel lineup right now. So he says he wants to be your guy instead of being a Paul Heyman guy. Triple H thinks about it. He's like, you know what? Fine. You want to finish Ambrose off? That's good. That's going to impress me. And Cesaro says, consider it done. And Raw's like, what are you doing? And he's like, let's see what he does. Let's see what he can get done. So in our next match, it is the Divas tag match that I referred to earlier. It's Paige and AJ against Emma, and her tag team partner in this case is Natalya. Since there's no heels in this match, not really, not yet, the frenemies are facing off against Emma and Natalya. This match was short. Paige gets locked in the sharpshooter, and AJ gets tagged in and hits the Shining Wizard, and the Black Widow taps out Natalya, and that's the end. So yeah, that's after the match is over. They're celebrating, and Paige grabs AJ by the hair and pulls her down. And then she mounts her with headbutts and tosses her to the floor, slams her to the barricade a couple of times, tosses her to the ring post, yelling, this is my house now, and tosses her over the announce table, and she skips around awkwardly. Apparently Paige can't skip. And up to the ramp. So the official heel turn from Paige here, and I think it works really well. I think with Paige as a heel, this is going to work splendidly, because what's going to happen is you're going to see that fervor, that fire that she had in NXT, you're going to see that come out as a heel, and she's going to be a monster heel against AJ, and this is going to be an awesome match at SummerSlam. For those of you that are disappointed, and I can actually be in that group as well, of their match at the pay-per-view last night, I can honestly say that I think that this is going to deliver at SummerSlam, given the fact that Paige has a reason to care, and now she can be evil Paige, and it'll work really awesome. So, we had our next match, and it is Fandango facing off against Zack Ryder, another battle of my t-shirt collection, and it's awesome to see Zack Ryder on Raw, and of course Zack Ryder's not alone. He's got Layla and Summer Rae with him, and they kiss all over him, and he's got lipstick all over his face. Well, yeah, Zack Ryder's a lucky, lucky man. So, officially, they're giving the name of Slayers. I think that's what I heard. Maybe Slayers. That's, Summer Rae, like, Rayla. I mean, there's a lot of things you could have done, but yeah, they're calling them Slayers. I don't really like that at all, actually. I think that sucks. So, yeah, this match was short, but it was effective, and it got Zack Ryder on television, and got him a win for the first time on television in I don't know how long. So, Fandango hits the chinlock, and he gets punched out of the chinlock by Ryder, and right hand whip in, and he catches his head ducked down, and of course, instead of backdropping him or dropping an elbow or anything like that, he has a face buster, and he charges in, does Fandango. Ziggler gets the knees up, hits the missile drop kick off the middle rope, but it misses, and Fandango goes for a whip, and he misses the charge in the corner, and Ryder makes him eat the Rough Rider, and that's the end. 1, 2, Fandango's foot on the bottom rope, Layla shoves it off before the referee can see that, and that's the end. So Zack Ryder wins, and Fandango has a reason to want a rematch. So I think we'll get a rematch of these two on SmackDown. I have zero issues with this. And obviously, the continuing fall of Fandango continues, which is a shame to me, because obviously I'm a huge fan, but I really hope that this goes somewhere. With Fandango and Sandow both, I really hope they're doing something with this that's going to lead to something somewhere down the line. So, basically, Flo Rida shows up, and here comes Heath Slater, and he remembers what happened at WrestleMania, and continuity, folks, gotta love it sometimes. And they have a shoving battle. Of course, Flo Rida wins and shoves Heath Slater down, and that's the end. So, Flo Rida performs. Okay, less said about this, the better. So, JBL and Michael Cole are talking about what's going on, who Triple H is going to choose, and there's 3 suits that show up, and they're there to talk to Stephanie, because Stephanie was out there to announce Flo Rida. The only thing I care about is Florida, not Flo Rida. 2 completely different things, obviously. So they push away Stephanie's bodyguard at this point. So they're trying to escort Stephanie to the back for some reason. We don't know exactly why. And the crowd are saying the na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. And Stephanie is asked point blank if she knows who Brie Bella is, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, did you strike her? And she thinks about it for a second. He's like, yeah, I did. And in the state of Florida, the greatest state in the world, it basically is against the law to hit someone else and is referred to as battery. So Stephanie's under arrest. Here comes Brie. Brie shows up, and Stephanie is now being cuffed. So Stephanie's saying, you're going to pay for this, and Stephanie says, you know what, you didn't have to do this in front of all these thousands of people out here, and I'm going to have your badge. And I was like, that's a real Vince way of dealing with things, but it was really awesome. Here comes Triple H out, and of course, he's screaming lawsuit, and he says, get Jerry McDevitt on the phone right now. Stephanie, don't worry about this. You'll be out in like 5 minutes. And Stephanie is pretty much having a conniption at this point. She's almost in tears, and she's scared, and like, you know what, we're just going downtown, is what the detectives at this point are telling her. And Triple H says, you know, you better be sure you make this right decision, because this is what we call a career change right here. These are career decisions right here. And you better be sure of what you're doing. And Triple H basically makes fun of the hybrid vehicle, and Stephanie gets taken away. So we come back commercial break, and here's Triple H, and there you see a Joey Mercury sighting. We've seen a lot of him lately, a lot more than back in the M&M days, actually. He's packing the bags, getting ready to go, obviously, for Hunter to walk out of the building and go be with Stephanie. And he says, you know what, family comes first. But Mercury makes the comment, you know what, who's going to face John Cena at SummerSlam? It's like, well, family comes first. But, you know, she's got to get processed first, right? And then she has to get booked, and there's lawyers going over there. And it's like, you know, we got some time. So put the car on standby, put it on idle, and as soon as I make my decision, I'll head for the jail. So yes, Triple H has his priorities straight. He really does. So in our next match, it is Ryback taking on the team of Xavier Woods and Big E. So yeah, this match basically done for one thing and one thing only. It was a short match, and basically it led with Kofi leaping off the top rope, hitting the flying body press. Ryback rolls through 1, 2, 3, and that's the end. Here comes Xavier Woods coming out in his best red and white suit, and he's going all Marvin Shabazz here, and he basically says, you know what, this has gone far, way too far than it should have. This is our time now. This is our place. This is our time now. We're not going to be held down any longer. We're going to find order. We're going to find our purpose. And we're not going to ask any longer. We're going to take. So this new Nation of Domination stable that we're hearing about, that we saw the Instagram picture of the three of them standing in a locker room together, yeah, this is actually going to happen. And Kofi Kingston going heel is something that should have happened a long time ago. For those of you that were wondering who was going to be the heel challengers for the Usos at SummerSlam, it may be a little too early to do this, but if you can build them successfully before SummerSlam, I can honestly see Big E and Kofi being the team in question. Xavier Woods is a good mouthpiece. He's a doctor, or he's studying to be a doctor, so it makes perfect sense. He's a legitimate PhD. That's why his Twitter says that. And they need one more guy. Now, granted, they could get David Otunga, which I'm sure they probably will. And they could probably recruit R-Truth, or R-Truth could be someone fighting against them. That also would work, because they need someone fighting against them. And the person that I think needs to spearhead this, the person that needs to be the leader, is the return of Mark Henry. I think that works perfectly. And he's a founding member of the original Nation of Domination. And I don't know exactly if they would call it the Nation of Domination, and I think they probably wouldn't. But it makes perfect sense that they would do this stable. I think it's going to work really well. And I'm really looking forward to see where we go from here. So Lana comes out with Rusev, and there's no promo. And here comes Khali. Gee, I wonder why there's no promo. Because the entire internet went crazy after what happened last night's pay-per-view. So, great Khali to face Rusev. Yeah, you know what's going to happen here. And Khali ends up getting crushed by the Accolade, and that's all she wrote. Nothing more needs said about that. Kudos to Khali for taking a camel clutch, though. Bending back that way. So Stardust and Goldust show up, and of course, Stardust, Cody looking more and more like Chris O'Donnell's Robin than ever before, acting like Jim Carrey's Riddler, but looking like Chris O'Donnell's Robin. So it's kind of a hybrid of Robin and the Riddler, which is like the most ultimate Batman mark-out for me, because obviously I'm a fan of both. So Stardust is singing "There's No Earthly Way of Knowing" from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So Goldust says the both of them can be the brightest, most bizarre. Cody says all they need is that cosmic key. And then Goldust says, you know what? They have that cosmic key. I don't know exactly who they is. I guess we'll find out sooner rather than later. And it needs them. The key itself needs them, and soon it will be calling their names. Of course, they out-bizarre each other, and that's the end of that. So Stephanie is going to have resisting arrest charges on her record now because of talking like she did to the detectives on duty. So we get our next match, and what a match it was, and I've been wanting to see this match for a while. It's Dean Ambrose against Cesaro, and this was legitimately your main event for the evening. So we pick it up midway through, after the commercial break, and there is a step-over armbar by Cesaro, because of course he's working the injured arm and shoulder of Ambrose at this point. Big right hand, and of course knocks him back into the ropes. And right after this, Ambrose usually delivers the Jawbreaker Lariat. But obviously, Cesaro has worked Nigel McGuinness so many times that he understands that you can duck this, and he did just that. So he nails a nice release German, gets a 2 off of that, puts him on the buckle, running boot to the face, and he climbs up, going for a superplex. Ambrose blocks it, and he headbutts him off, hits the missile drop kick, ducks the clothesline, and the crossbody with the punches by Ambrose, and he rams him shoulder into the corner, and the elbow face wash, whip in reverse, and charging elbow into the tornado DDT on Cesaro, 1-2, and a kick out. Suplex is blocked, it's countered into the cross-face chicken wing by Cesaro, which gets broken by a duck by Ambrose, using momentum to send Cesaro face first into the top turnbuckle. Cesaro charges when he gets back up, and Ambrose low bridges him. He hits the tope to the barricade, tosses him in, and the boot in the midsection knocks him back into the ropes, and of course the Jawbreaker Lariat this time does connect, 1-2, and a kick out. So Cesaro stops momentum with yanking his arm viciously across the top rope, ducks the clothesline, Cesaro with a vicious lariat, clothesline from Switzerland here, and gets a 2.5 on that one. So he charges in, Ambrose gets the boot up, he goes up top, he gets crotched and tied upside down with a Tree of Woe. Cesaro with the stomps, the referee backs him off. Cesaro with the repeated stomps, the referee backs him off. He goes for it again, referee backs him off, and eventually he gets to try to toss Ambrose shoulder first in the post. Cesaro is reversed. Ambrose tosses Cesaro in the post 3 separate times and grabs a steel chair, and while the arm is tied up against the ring post because he got thrown into the post 3 times, Ambrose grabs a steel chair and nails the elbow of Cesaro, calling for disqualification. So he goes all absolutely insane, like always, and he tosses chairs in the ring a la Terry Funk, and basically he just sits and watches Cesaro walk up the ramp. So, wild match, and easily the best match on the show. I really want to see these two get like 20 minutes. I'd really like to see what they would do with 20 minutes in their match. I'm not aware if they have faced off before. Now, anyone that knows me would probably know, obviously I have knowledge of their former careers. Has there ever been a Jon Moxley-Claudio Castagnoli match existing? Maybe an FIP, potentially? I don't know. Was Mox in an FIP? CZW is the only one that comes to mind, because I don't remember Mox in Ring of Honor. So, CZW comes to mind. So, was there a matchup between Claudio and Moxley in CZW? That's my question. I'm not sure if there was. If there was, I'm not aware. So, that's just how it goes. I kind of lost track of CZW after a while. So Triple H comes out, and he's going to make the official announcement. And he's made his announcement, so here comes Randy Orton. So Randy Orton is coming out to accept. Well, obviously Triple H didn't say anything. And Randy Orton ends up getting attacked by Roman Reigns, and they fight in the crowd and all the way out of the building. So, at this point, we get our We Want Lesnar chant, because obviously Miami's kind of been smartened up here. Here comes Paul Heyman to the top of the ramp. He says, you know what, I have tons of respect for Triple H, but I hate to point out the obvious. Plan A isn't working because Randy Orton's obviously undependable, because Roman Reigns is going to make sure that doesn't happen, make sure Roman Reigns stops Orton every time, obviously setting up their SummerSlam match, which I'm hearing is going to happen. So Roman Reigns and Orton at SummerSlam Triple H and Roman Reigns are Night of Champions. Obviously, you need to get that buy-in for the network. Obviously, you're playing that up to be a major event this year because it's when everybody's contract for network is up. So if you want to re-up, you're going to have to see the card Night of Champions, see if it's worth re-upping for. There's always that. So, Plan B, Seth Rollins, he's great and everything, but you know what? Every time he cashes in, there's that elephant in the room that's always there, and that's Dean Ambrose just jumping in every single time, messing up any single opportunity he has of cashing in. So, you need to make a choice. You need to make a rather dangerous choice and implement Option C, which, in my opinion, Option C is for Conqueror of the Streak. Sorry, Will. And enjoy the beach, sir. And Heyman extends his hand, Triple H reluctantly shakes it, and shakes Lesnar's hand, and it's officially made. Heyman says, of course, that he and his client Brock Lesnar, and the normal stuff about conquering the Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania, he's the one behind 21-1, and he's like, at this moment, my client officially will announce his intentions to conquer John Cena and take the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Now, there's a divide that permeates through the entire WWE universe. Those who wear their green t-shirts and their pump-up sneakers, and even though when they used to steal sneakers from me back in the day, thank you, Cena. They scream with great passion their love and adulation for their hero by shouting, "Let's go, Cena!" And there are those who offer the contrarian opinion, and they just have mommies who don't tuck them in at night. So they say with great fervor and intense passion, "Cena sucks." It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, because Brock Lesnar doesn't care. This malpracticing doctor of thugonomics is in for the beating of a lifetime. Great line from Heyman, by the way. He doesn't just stand out here and spew hype and hyperbole, he exploits historical facts to shove his points down all of our throats. To wit, he offers what happened the last time that Brock zeroed in on someone and decided to give them a beating. And of course we see footage, I'm pretty sure Will can't watch to this day, of The Undertaker undefeated streak at WrestleMania being conquered. Yes, I still have nightmares of Will's actions on that evening. But yes, Heyman says, you know what, Brock beat The Undertaker so badly that even our heartless chairman went to the hospital with him because he was worried about the dead man's personal well-being and life itself. John Cena, that same beating will await you. Please don't confuse Jock. Shout out my friend Jock Sampson. Please don't confuse Brock Lesnar with some stereotypical villain who will attempt to have Cena forfeit the championship. Cena, there's no way to escape the beating that is coming your way. Brock will punch your face in. I will make sure that Brock Lesnar hurts you, and Brock is going to injure and mangle John Cena, and then and only then will Brock Lesnar F5 Cena and take his WWE World Heavyweight Championship that is rightfully his. Every week on television, John Cena is being considered the greatest WWE champion of all time. 15 world titles in 10 years? That sounds like a streak worth conquering. So he says, to end the promo that has already talked everyone in the building, like it should, because Paul Heyman is a god on the microphone, I pledge allegiance to the greatness of the conqueror who stands before me, One C Nation under John, which is now divisible with no hustle, loyalty, and respect for all. Paul Heyman is the one behind 21-1, and at SummerSlam, his client, Brock Lesnar, will beat John Cena and thus become the WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world. What a phenomenal way to end Raw. So yes, that was incredible there. So yes, before I go any further, yes, check that promo out as soon as possible. Heyman is just untouchable on the microphone. He is phenomenal in every single way possible. Lesnar just has to stand there and conquer things. That's all he has to do. It works perfectly. And Lesnar and Cena, whether you want it to happen or not, is going to be a fight at SummerSlam, with Lesnar walking out with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the end. And then, like I said, him and Roman Reigns is pretty much in a erasable pin right now for WrestleMania 31. So that is what we're looking at this moment. So yeah, this show was all over the place. What I recommend on the show, at this point, I would recommend promos from Triple H. They were all awesome. The Bray Wyatt promo on Jericho was really nice. If you're a guy, then Nikki kind of had a little wardrobe malfunction in the 4-on-1 handicap match. So if you want to see that, you haven't checked it out on the internet, which you probably already have. I'm sorry, but it's there. I'm not going to tell you where to get it, but if you want to see a wardrobe malfunction for whatever reason, yeah, you can check that out on the internet. So there's always that. Bo Dallas and Damian Sandow was okay. It was short, but it was okay. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, once we got past the first couple of minutes of the match that were really, really spotty and not necessarily in a good way, it was pretty good, and it got the crowd really into it. The crowd was really into both guys in the match, obviously into hating the Miz and loving Dolph, so it worked pretty well. And I think we may have a feud after Miz and Sheamus feud over the title unification, which looks like it's going to happen at SummerSlam, at least at this moment. So yeah, that's going to happen. We got Rusev and Sheamus coming up tomorrow main event, so that's what we got to look forward to. And by tomorrow main event, I could say since it's Monday, I'm talking about tonight on main event. So yeah, while I'm at work, main event will be on. I'll probably watch it on the network. So yeah, if you want to see Zack Ryder win a match in 2014, watch the match against Fandango. It was okay for what it was. The promo from Xavier Woods talking about this new formulation of a new coalition in WWE. I think it works really well, and I think it's going to be awesome. Match of the night, without any doubt, Cesaro and Dean Ambrose. Phenomenal match between these two, and I really want to see these two go at it yet again. Now, what I was thinking, they were going to do Cesaro and Rollins, and I think that match is going to be awesome, because I have seen the Tyler Black and Claudio Castagnoli matches in Ring of Honor, and I'd like to see them again. So yes, looking forward to that. So yeah, check those out as soon as you can. So that was Raw for this week. Following up a very lackluster pay-per-view. A couple of things came out of this. Like I said, Paige turned heel, which is good. Add more fuel to the fire for a match against AJ at SummerSlam, so that works just fine. Rusev came out, no promo here, and Swagger was selling the injury. Obviously, he got posted rather hard, so he's not on the show. He may show up on SmackDown potentially, who knows, to continue the storyline with Rusev. Still leading towards either a flag match or a submission match between Rusev and Swagger at SummerSlam, and I think that's what we're leading towards. I think it'd been funny if they would have had Damian Sandow come out as John Cena and get squashed by Lesnar. I think that actually might happen eventually. They didn't do it tonight, but I think it might end up happening. But that would mean that Sandow would have to maybe shave his face, which I don't think that's going to work. So, Aaron the Idol Stevens flashbacks there if they want to go that direction. So, yeah, that was Raw tonight. And, like I said, coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights' next announcement for our second Scare Zone officially in Orlando. And our first Scare Zone announcement for Hollywood, actually technically second, because the first one was the Mask A-Raid on French Street. But our second announcement in Hollywood for a Scare Zone, that is the Purge Anarchy coming. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that later today. And if we get a new reveal this week for Hollywood and Orlando, I'll shoot you guys out a video. So in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet liked our Facebook fan page on Facebook, go to Facebook right now and click like on Suro and Disney Pop on Facebook. If you'd like to send me a good old-fashioned friend request on Facebook, it's Owen Disney. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's @SirOwenDisney. Last but certainly not least, I want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions. We're going to talk Halloween Horror Nights with me, Disney, Universal. We're going to talk wrestling with me. Ask me questions. We're going to be a podcaster yourself and your content. Or if you'd like to give us ideas for segments versus ideas, then be my guest and send me an email, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. Wrestling fans, I will join you tomorrow. We're going to talk a little TNA Impact. And, of course, WWE fans, join me next Monday for NXT and SmackDown, because we'll go back to the normal schedule here on Pop. For the rest of the week, we have Halloween Horror Nights news coming actually today, and tomorrow is Impact. Thursday is up in the air at this point. I would guess there's going to be something big that's going to come out of Thursday. Who knows at this point? I'm sure it probably will happen, but that's coming very soon. And, of course, this Friday, AJ's movie reviews, Hercules, and Lucy, along with a couple other limited releases. Protesters vs. Zombies is actually coming to Pop soon, too. So, yeah, there's going to be a review of that. And this Saturday, Ashley's Gaming with Ash segment does return, and we're going to be talking about what's going on in the world of gaming, and who knows, maybe we'll get a Monty Python review, potentially. We'll see what happens with that. I'll have to talk to him about that. This Sunday, and will lead us into verses, and Dumb Gym Rats is your cryptic comment here, as we're going to return to cryptic comments starting now. So that's the video, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.